Hey, hi, hello. Welcome to the Petal Party. I'm your host, Buttercup, animator, illustrator, and sequential artist. I am having a bad executive function day. I don't even really remember what I did yesterday. Uh, but today we're going to spend an hour or two, I guess, from now until 7-ish, working on a white noise report, the mini comic commission that I took on. Um, there's a part of me that wants to start trying to do thumbnails for the comic, but we're still in the character design phase. So um, that's what I'll focus on. But internally, what I want to be doing is like a dozen more advanced things. But so let's kick things off. Let's kick things off.
Wow.
Wow. Also, because I insisted on rearranging how my headphones are set up, so I stopped snapping them out of the my machine. Like my computer is so sensitive that you change anything and like it a ton of different things kind of go haywire. And so I spent like 3 or 4 hours yesterday just like recalibrating everything just to accommodate for this one little like let me plug this, like unplug this thing and plug it into another thing. And all of my like power allocation and like charging things were like, we don't like that. That's why towards the end of yesterday's stream, I was like, my computer's at 30%. Because it's suddenly forgotten how to like internally regulate. Seems fine now, for now, but okay. I need to spend some time with the script.
Hello,
Hello, Layla.
man. Perfect timing for ending our call because I totally forgot I had a psych appointment.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
You just
The only thing that saved me was that my psychiatrist was also late.
okay. Wow.
Closet at the bottom of the stairs when you go down. Mhm. Yeah, I called because I was worried that he had like signed in and saw that I wasn't there and then just like dipped. But actually, he literally was just 10 minutes late,
Oh, okay.
which was great for me.
Convenient. Really convenient. You know, I don't think I've never committed the Detroit, Michigan skyline to memory. Like this is the comic that I'm writing takes place in Detroit, and like I'm looking at the skyline, I'm like, I literally have no like. I feel like I'm pretty good at GeoGuessr, you know, or like if someone's or like you know, or like Google TV, like the presentation that it shows, it just like goes through different slides of photographs that Google employees have taken, and like sometimes they're city skylines, and I'm usually like, that's Hong Kong, you know, uh, uh, that's Beijing, that's New Delhi, that's Chicago, but like I'm looking at this and I'm like, I would have mistaken this for Houston. That's how little I recognize the skyline. Yeah, I like fully would have just been like, that's Houston. Is that a thing that you have any skill for whatsoever? Or skill that you've cultivated at all, Layla?
Sometimes Discord just decides it's not going to let me push any buttons.
Hmm.
Uh, I just had something dip out on the call for a second. What's a
Okay.
skill that I what?
Okay, I was saying that like like the comic that
I
I'm
heard
working.
I
Uh-huh.
yeah. In my response, what I was trying to unmute to say was, "You're really stuck on Houston these days."
I'm stuck on Houston.
This is literally only the second instance of you mentioning Houston,
Wait,
but
you sound far away. I can't hear you.
1 second.
Mm. Oh, because of the rapper who I thought was from Houston. It turns out I just can't tell the difference between a Houston and Floridian accents. Yeah. I think that there's just like enough similar, like, are you there, Layla? You're not back yet.
I am. I just need a
Okay,
second to get to the side of the house that has better signal.
got you. But you were saying that I'm really stuck on Houston, and I was like, oh no, it just turns out that I can't tell the difference between a Houston and Florida southern accent. Um,
Mhm.
but like if you look at the design, uh, what do you call it? Like the architectural style for Detroit is vaguely speaking similar to Houston. Like that's the reason why I would have been like, it's Houston, because like this is Detroit, and like this looks very similar to me to this. Um, I guess Houston's not on the water. That's what should have been. Uh, oh yes, it is. Oh shit. Huh. Or I guess it's not like on the water, on the water. Hold on, let me see where it is. Google.
Houston.
I know it's on the Gulf, but yeah, it's not that close to the water. I guess it's close enough to this river that if you're looking at the city from across the river, that it looks like it's on the water. But then Detroit, like they literally built a skyscraper like a couple blocks from the water. Yeah, no, like
it's risky.
Yeah. But like New Orleans, unmistakable for me. Like I would not have like looked at Detroit and been like, that's New Orleans.
I have no idea what the New Orleans skyline looks like.
They don't have a lot of like skyscrapers. They've got like a few tall buildings, but they're all very rectangular, which was convenient for me when I was like doing a music video that was like animating a music video that was set there, because I was just like, oh, like I don't need to think. I just need to make a bunch of rectangles. That's basically it. Or like what other like cities are there? Obviously Baltimore. I feel like I feel like because of this building, the one with the like weird trapezoid top, and this one with like bright yellow roof, or bright yellow spire, like Baltimore's unmistakable if those two buildings are in the image.
And now I know the secret to knowing when it is Baltimore.
Mm-hmm. Also, like this is um actually, what building is that? Um there's also a lot of brick in Baltimore, generally speaking. Like um um yeah, this like apartment building here on the right is like mostly made out of brick, and it's very unusual for skyscrapers to be made out of brick. Actually, no, what's the difference between a skyscraper versus like just a really tall building? Skyscraper
How to
definition.
scrape the sky.
Yeah. Okay, that's not useful. Skyscraper is a tall, continuously habitable building having multiple floors. Modern sources define skyscrapers as being at least 100 meters, 330 feet, or 150 meters, 490 feet in height, though there is no universally accepted definition other than being very tall, high-rise buildings. Skyscrapers may host offices, hotels, residential spaces, and retail spaces. Am I alone in thinking that, not am I alone, but like, do you, when I look at cities from far enough away, they look almost cancerous. Does that ring true for you?
I have never thought this prior to hearing this, but capitalism is cancer. So yeah,
Yeah, you just agreeing on principle.
I agree with the concept of the thing.
Yeah, like city from plane maybe. Like I guess it gives me at a certain scale it gives me trypophobia. Like can you see Like this is Manhattan from the sky. Can you see it? Are you looking?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
looks that looks bad.
Yeah. That looks yeah.
Man, the rivers are freaking beautiful though.
Yeah. I'm just thinking like, 300 years ago, this is all forest. Like all of it.
Lush too.
Yeah. Hmm. It's Air Canada. You can tell from the logo.
That looks like the New York City Parks and Rec logo, but in green.
Parks.
New York City Parks and Rec, evil
Oh yeah. Is that
enemy.
is it also a maple leaf? Leaf? Yeah, it is. Hmm.
I think it's an oak leaf actually.
Hmm. Hmm.
Did I make that up? Why do I think that? Nope, it is not an oak leaf.
Well, there are various. I think that my mom, my mom, who's really good at identifying plants, my mom is for real a botanical and arboreal witch, like just straight up. Like you can literally like take a random leaf from a forest and hand it to her, and she'll be like, "I know exactly like what like I know the specific variety of tree this
Love this
is."
for her.
But like, yeah, look, check out the variety of different kinds of oak leaves. You see this?
Hmm.
It's black
Yeah, none
oak.
of them look like the logo.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Man, the
Yeah.
blackjack one looks like a freaking fig leaf.
Mm-hmm. The willow oak doesn't even look like a fucking. That's on a tree, like a bush leaf.
I didn't know water oaks had leaves like that. I just know what the whole tree looks like.
Hmm.
I guess because I've only seen them in the south.
Hmm. Okay. Well, I was gonna say maple leaf variety.
And maple.
Maple. Here's a
Yeah,
good set.
definitely this guy.
This isn't. Oh, are red maples the no? Because none of these are Japanese maples. Hmm.
You see that all over Brooklyn though.
Yeah. Here we go. Hmm. Okay. Here's an actually good variety. Yeah.
Wowzers.
Like they do have common features, but they're very, very, very um um a lot of variety. This is interesting. We're talking about variation within kind today. Like a
I
weirdly
have been at the
amount.
event. Ariadna. Red Dragon.
But I feel like we're talking about variations within kind and unusually high amount today. Like we were talking about
It's
fruit
true.
earlier,
This
then
is
cities,
the
now
theme.
trees. This is the theme for the day. Variation within kind.
Yeah. Kurohime?
Oh,
Princess Kuro?
Kurohime. That's Black Princess.
Cute.
Where did you see that one?
It
Kurohime.
was in the picture. It's on the right near the bottom.
Oh, Kurohime Maple. Oh, wow. 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 That's a pretty tree. Holy shit. The leaves are so thin that they look almost like uh marijuana.
Oh shit, that's what I should do today.
Weed? Buy weed?
No. Well,
Uh-oh.
I do want to smoke some, but Damaris was telling me that if I want to grow weed, I
Mm.
should prepare to have it like in the dirt in February and take it outside by I think March.
Mm.
And it's fucking January. February's right around the corner.
Mm-hmm.
So Reddit,
Oh,
how
it's
to
a variation of Japanese maple.
wow, thank you, Reddit. How to grow weed for dummies. Perfect.
How pronounce?
What'd you say?
How I said how pronounce? It's the Korean very
Oh, let me see. Uh, Danpung Namu. Danpung. What's Danpung? I wonder. I guess that must be maple because Namu is tree.
Hmm. Dongpung Namu. It fucked my head up that like specific species of plant like can vary in their growth pattern from like basically like something resembling a grass all the way to tree, like in the very same organism, like based on the
Mm-hmm.
circumstances. I was like very confused by that. I was like, no, like a tree's a tree. Like, no, like a tree is just a configuration of potential like uh cultivation circumstances. Or like
Also,
I'm like,
like palm trees are not trees.
really? What are palm trees?
Apparently, they're more like grass.
It's like I think the plant that caused me to have the epiphany was bamboo. Uh because someone was like, yeah, no, bamboo is like very closely related to like the kind of grass that you have on your lawn. And I was like, there's no way that's true. Like bamboo can grow to be like 100 feet tall. Like why would that be true?
And it can like break through concrete.
Yeah, exactly. And but then I googled it and I was like, oh, like grass is just like a way that something propagates, not necessarily the like a kind. And like also like let's see, rose tree.
I had that revelation the first time I planted a garden, and my mom had to show me that basically the weeds were changing how they looked to look more like they weren't weeds and more like the other plants that I was growing.
Adaptive.
And I was just like, you sneaky thingies.
What's another good example though?
How
Oh,
dare you deceive me?
yeah, okay, like yeah, like holly trees, which are ostensibly trees, but they can just like stop if under certain circumstances at a specific size between these varieties. It's like, oh, like I've only ever seen them. I had only ever seen them as bushes, and then like at some point I like saw a thing that looked like a tree, but that had holly leaves and berries, and I was like, what the hell is this?
I think there's an arboretum in Baltimore.
No, I've definitely been there. Um, wait, arboretum. What am I thinking about? Botanic garden. DC has a big ass arboretum that I've been to many times.
I love the botanic gardens in the Bronx, but it's such a pain to get to.
Well, this is the place that I've been to.
I've been there too.
Wait, is it though? No, no.
The
I'm
name is
thinking about
familiar to me, so I'm pretty
Baltimore
sure this is the one I went to.
Botanic Garden.
Oh, and actually, that was the same day that I found
Yeah, this is the
Junko
place.
Mizuno's manga.
Hmm. This is the one that I've been to.
Cute.
Oh, if I had scrolled a little, it comes up. Okay. Where is this? Is it in the same place, like same area? Oh no, it's way, way up down. Um,
Okay. Do I want to grow indoors or out of doors? I feel like out of doors.
it's gonna be so cold.
Yeah, but indoors it'll be so smelly.
Uh, on the edge of the river.
Wow, 10-minute guide.
Where the hell is the river? Well, it's not the river. It's uh, 83.
Apparently, you can buy seeds that are feminized, and I'm like, how do you feminize a seed?
Hmm. Maybe it's a temperature thing, because you know it's the case for some uh like animals. It's that like if they're hatched or gestated like at a certain temperature, then it like causes a certain percentage of them to be a different sex. um Hi Faye. Did you Google it?
No, I'm still considering purchasing. Wow, these seeds are expensive, but in theory, it's a one-time purchase. Wait, I know y'all aren't saying this is per seed.
Huh? What? My phone is doing such a bad job of alerting me.
That.
Like, the group chat has been going ham, and I have notifications fully turned on, and I just did not see any of them.
Wow.
Uh, Galaxy's riding in a robo car. What are those things called?
Self-driving car?
Yeah, self-driving car. Is it an Uber? They said I like it. Oh no. Oh God, they're in the group chat arguing whether or not San Francisco and Oakland are the same city. I hate it. If a place is so close that you can if the majority of the people who live in one city like commute from the other city, then it's just one city. Do you know what I'm saying?
Don't they have
Like,
different mayors though?
yeah, no, they do. Their political structure is such that it is like divided. But like, okay, so here's a controversial take. Um, uh, like just because Newark is on the other side of the Hudson, right? Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Like, uh, the fact that it is so easy to get from there to New York, like renders it in my mind like part of the city. Like it is completely arbitrary that Newark is not a borough, and the arbitrarity is embedded in the fact that it is in New Jersey, which is a completely different state. It's just borders
I'm
and
actually not
weird.
mad at that because you can the city bikes. It's the same city bike system in
Mm.
the do they have them in all five boroughs? In the five boroughs as for Newark.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, New York can claim that. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, it's more that like frustration with the arbitrarity of it, because like, so when they first designed DC, it was supposed to be a diamond, and it included Arlington and Alexandria, which are on the other side of the Potomac. But then Virginia ceded from the Union, and so that plan got fucked up. Um, uh, and so now DC is just this sort of like broken diamond shape, but like Arlington and Alexandria are like as developed, if not more, like infrastructurally developed than DC, and it takes like 15 minutes to get there from downtown. So it's like, well, how is this a different city? um, Face says, I've collected 40,000 Warhammers. I can now Horus Heresy, the Age of Sigmar. I have 40,000 channel points. I don't know what that means. Also, yay, my laser emote got approved. That's uh that's two emotes. A horrifying thing that I've realized about super popular Twitch streamers is that basically 24 hours a day, even when they're not in chat, chatters will keep chatting. Like
Wait,
the streamers who have like 40,000 viewers per stream, like their chat is just always active. People just hang out there as if it were a social
like Twitch
place.
does that for them?
I'm not saying that, like, it's not bots, right? It's real people. They just like they're such big stands that they make friends with
Like
other fans and just live in the chat all the time.
can I chat someone when you're not in
Yeah.
Twitch when you're not on
Yes.
Twitch?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah. There's like I just like randomly went to go see if a specific streamer was live and like opened up their chat and saw that like there was like a couple dozen people in there just talking amongst themselves, and I was like, this person hasn't been live for 7 hours. Yeah, sometimes I do that when a streamer is about to go live. I said lasers plural. No, oh, you said laser emotes. You said emotes plural. I did do a dyslexia on the word emotes. What happens if, okay, so if there are male marijuana plants, do they keep the plants from fruiting? Is that what happens?
Um, what?
Yeah,
They fertilize the female plants.
right, but like there's a reason why people try to get all like when you're doing a grow, they try to get all female plants because I think if there's even one male plant, they won't produce buds.
Yeah, I think that's true.
Okay.
But I'm still about 15 minutes into learning about
Yeah,
this. So.
researching it. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna try and focus on work because I so far have not done any. I was trying to pick a third. You know what? We can just do two poses for it. You know you love it. You know you love me, feed you, can you need me? Yeah. You know you love it.
Ooh.
Okay, you know what? It's actually that my phone just acknowledged that the girlies are yapping and stopped notifying me because the group chat is actually exhausting.
Yep. I usually turn off the notification for all my family group chats.
Yeah. What's so funny to me though is that like for the people who are really active in them, they'll be like they'll say something, they'll DM me something, and then if I don't understand, I'll be like, what? And they'll be like, you haven't checked the group chat? I'm like, there's 300 messages in there. Like,
Yeah.
what? Like,
So sorry, y'all. I will never know what happened 200 messages ago.
Since the last time I looked, an ungodly amount of work has been done. Ooh, 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 ooh. Did they cancel? Hold on, let me just Google this. I was gonna say, did they cancel Beyond the Spider-Verse because of the Shamik Moore, Haley Steinfeld
Oh
drama?
my god. Sir, why would you do this to us?
Ooh, Shamik Moore has not recorded his lines yet. Interesting.
They might be looking for another voice.
Is Beyond the Spider-Verse ever coming out?
Mm.
Every time I walk in now, I can hear you telling me to turn around. Oh no. God damn it, Sony. What is wrong with y'all? After Sony Pictures CEO Tony Vinciquera said in May 2024 that the studio was exploring different opportunities to make their films less expensive and more efficient by primarily using artificial intelligence, which was a central issue in the 2023 Hollywood labor disputes. Miller responded to concerns regarding the use of AI and Beyond the Spider-Verse, saying that generative artificial intelligence would not be used in the film. He explained that one of their goals for the Spider-Verse films was to create visual styles not used in major studio computer-generated film and not repurposing other artists' work through AI. Some machine learning technology, which is distinct from generative AI, as it is based on work already done on the project, had been used by Sony Pictures Imageworks to assist animators during the production of the franchise's preceding films. Okay. I got worried that because like Sony CEO was like, yeah, no, we want to use AI. It's like the director had to be like, oh, but not here though. He might be trying to figure that out, but we're not interested in figuring that out. Several scenes have been scrapped and changed, and because Sony was not expected to release the film within the same year as the fourth live-action Spider-Man film with Marvel Studios, scheduled for July 2026. Gonna get another Spider-Man movie in 2026. Oh, I'm
Okay,
trying
it
to make
says
a salary.
you don't want the male plants next to the female plants because they will make the female plants grow seeds
Mm-hmm.
instead of growing buds, which you smoke.
Mm-hmm. I'm remembering back in like the aughts, I had some friends who were trying to learn to grow and they didn't like know anything about it. And like their first batch was completely ruined because it was like 50-50.
Mm-hmm.
Iragonis.
Aragonus.
Me, 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 me. Hey.
So this will probably take a $200 to $300 investment in materials, but that's a one-time purchase for something that presumably I will want to use until it is not possible to use anymore.
Mm.
Let's look at my vape. Because all I was supposed to do today was relax and smoke weed.
Mm.
And so far, I've only done one of those things. So time to catch up.
What is it? I came here to what did you say? What are the things?
Relax and smoke weed.
Relax. I came here to relax and smoke weed, and I'm all out of relaxation. And I'm fresh out of relaxation.
Ooh, or I could eat the weed instead of smoke it. There's a concept.
uh Regardless says, what are you doing? What are you asking? Is it an earnest question or kind of just like I only took a cursory glance at the situation, so I'm just gonna sort of like internally what I'm doing is like doing a lot of philosophy around mereological nihilism. I think that that's part of the issue that I've been having today is that I'm in a philosophical uh I'm in a philosophy loop. I'm asking what you're doing. I am drawing character designs for White Noise Report, the mini comic that I've been commissioned to do. We're currently working on the design for Edmund Walker. If that wasn't extremely apparent from what's on screen. Sick. Layla is doing research because they're thinking about starting a grow.
No, I have to start a grow.
They are seriously making very serious plans. They're making very serious plans to start a grow. Nice. You have to start a grow, Regana's ass?
Yes.
Why the imperative voice?
Because my household is too poor to spend as much money as we do on weed. And even if my first grow doesn't like immediately ameliorate that problem, like we need a solution for it.
Can I buy some and or make a donation? I think that this is going to be the home supply.
It does not even exist yet. I don't even have.
Yeah, right. Like you're asking mate potentially a full year or at least like 6 months from it even
It'll
like
probably
being
be ready to
true.
harvest around October.
Yeah.
But Reganis, thank you for believing in me.
Oh, I also believe in you. I didn't like. There's no part of me that thinks that this project will result in anything besides a booming success.
Thank you also for believing in me.
Listen, you've kept a snake alive for what is it, 8.5 years?
Going on 10 now.
10? Jesus. You can certainly
my beautiful handsome son.
Morgana says I like weed, but weed is spelled OUID.
Weed.
Weed.
May we. Oh, Rusty, you think this is for you, and it is not. This is for me, so that I can get high.
What does
This don't
Rust?
got nothing to do with you, baby boy.
Yeah, what does Rusty even think it could possibly be? Like how?
Oh, anytime anything is interacted with, Rusty gets his hopes up that this will somehow result in him getting food.
That is actually kind of classic dog behavior. I'll be honest. Oh, speaking of
Yeah.
classic animal behavior, we might be. I mean, okay, so Galaxy and I have talked, and um, the cat that they rescued uh, um, is getting neutered today, which means that at least for the next couple weeks, they're gonna need caretaking. So we will have a cat for at least 2 weeks.
Wait, I was gonna say like for good.
For at least 2 weeks. They're expensive. They can cost up to like $1,500 a year, and we don't have that like amount of like
Really?
neither of us
How
get
much it
paid enough.
costs to feed a cat?
Feed you like rather than taking them out, you have to get a litter box and which needs kitty litter. Um uh Supposedly they need yearly shots rather than just like the usual like get
I
them
did not know
once
that.
or
Any cats
ever
I
so
ever had in my
often.
life just got the shots when we got them.
Yeah, insurance for vet visits also. Yeah. Oh, also our apartment. If we decide to sign the next lease, they increased our rent by like $100 something, and they charge more for if you have pets, and so we would have to change our lease to a pet lease.
Does your city have protections against rent increases?
Not to my knowledge. If you can do that research, that would mean a lot to me.
I'll take a look.
They
Because
have.
in New York, like
Hmm.
there's three kinds of apartments, and unfortunately, most of them are the kind where the landlord can do whatever the fuck they want. But the other two kinds, they can only increase the rent by a certain percent.
Okay, yeah, no, that is what they increase it by 5% every year.
That seems high
Yeah,
to me.
I agree. We feel it. We moved here in 2022, and it went from 1540 something to 1700 is the next like uh amount if we sign it if we re-sign in May. And then but they also have like
Like,
a
am I getting 5% more apartment to live in? Like,
no, the quality isn't even that good. Like, yeah, no. It's a profit model, right? There's a company that owns this building, and they send basically representatives whose full-time job it is to just make sure that this place is making money rather than losing money.
we have many of those, I fear.
Hmm. They say to cover up pet accidentals. Oh, that's what they charge the extra rent for, and to clean up after pet dander or whatever. Are you talking about that's what they're charging for when you move out? Like the extra that they're charging is to clean up pet dander there for when you leave. I'm the kind of bitch that gets paranoid about getting my deposit back. Like Galaxy was like ooh, I want to put up like cute like bisexual lighting in my bedroom. It like required us to like hammer nails into the walls, and I was like, I don't like this. They don't really do anything but
Yeah, it's
hire a
so
service.
unfair because it's so easy to spackle a wall
Mm-hmm.
or do like a little plaster repair. Like they don't have to be assholes. Okay. I am making an apple butter peanut butter sandwich.
Apple butter peanut butter sandwich. Okay.
Yes.
Wait, not apple jelly, apple butter?
Apple butter. I was talking about this with somebody. I have never seen apple butter in a store. It is something that I've only seen because somebody like made it. Hot.
It
Like I
is
made
just
this much myself.
it's just a kind of jelly though, right? Like
Hmm. Do you? Well, jelly is made from juice,
okay.
so no, because you put actual apples in this. And I
Hmm.
guess is it technically a jam? Do you cook the stuff that goes into a jam?
Do you cook jam
Jam.
ingredients? When making jam, you do cook the ingredients, fruit and sugar together until
Okay.
the mixture thickens and reaches a setting point.
So I
Um,
guess this is technically a jam, but it does not look like a jam.
mm. Regana says, y'all don't have a Mom's or Sprouts. Those are the organic stores I see apple butter at.
We don't have a
Um,
Sprouts, but I like Sprouts a lot. I am a huge fan of Sprouts.
I think Mom's might be a Maryland local place.
Yeah, Moms I've never heard of.
Maryland, Virginia, DC, Pennsylvania. Oh, there's spaces. There's one in New York, New Jersey, and Massachusetts.
I have never seen this institution in my life. Because like, where is it that it can afford to be that huge? Look at
It's in
that.
Dobbs Ferry. There's only one location,
Okay,
and it's
yeah.
in Dobbs Ferry. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, like the ones in Maryland. There's like maybe yeah. There's oh man. Okay, never mind. There's a shit ton. Hold on. There's two. There's 3, 6, 9, 11. Bowie College Park. That's where I used to like my parents uh well Galaxy went to University of Maryland, so that's the one that I know about. There's one in Hamden, Rockville. I know this
Yeah, I
one's
was
in
telling
Silver
my
Spring. Mm-hmm.
I was telling my partner about apple butter, and they
Mm-hmm.
had never heard of it. And then I realized I had never seen it in a store.
Hmm.
But I guess they
Mm-hmm.
sell it in Moms and Sprouts. So
Yeah, Moms and Sprouts. They might have it at OK Natural too. Let's see. But that's again, it's owned by my friend's dad apparently.
also, I feel as if apple butter is a southern thing. But my partner's from the south, or they're from Pittsburgh, but they used to live in Atlanta before they moved up to Philly.
Uh-huh. Okay, yeah, I just know all these people. This is funny as hell. I didn't realize that uh the person who runs OK Natural is just like my friend's dad.
I like it there, and I like the sandwich shop next door.
Wait, you been?
Mm-hmm.
What did you go to Soup's On too?
Willow doesn't. Yeah, yeah. Willow doesn't live far from there.
Oh right. Right. This is so funny. It's just like this is the white man with his dreadlocks.
Regana says, I never heard of any of my super north mention apple butter before, but NY isn't super north.
Super
I mean, my
North?
family's kind of from the south.
Super North? That's the dude who told me to eat tea leaves. Wait, who? Who? Which one? The guy with the locks or the dreads, I should say. The fucking French fingers man.
Matt's.
Yeah, Matt's. The white person with the long hair. They're young. Oh, that's Mac. That's my friend Mac. uh this one. Come on, go back. Stop that. Stop it. God damn it. Why is this website so toxic? You talking about that one? Mac was nice. Yeah, Mac's cool as hell. Mac's a really awesome bass player and plays in a bunch of local bands. Um mm-mm. I'm trying to think of what any of his bands, current bands are named.
Dang, I can't mute. I'm gonna hang up.
Okay.
I return.
Welcome.
Damn, that sandwich was good.
Uh, one of Mac's current bands is called Black Lung, and let's see if they got any shows coming up. They had a show on December 5th. No show us. I keep telling them that I'll go to one of their shows and completely forget on the day.
I'm sure everybody in their life is in some stage of that.
Well, their squad is pretty tight knit, so like, or close knit. Like when I do end up going to stuff, it's like the same group of people are always there. It's like, oh, okay, I'm the odd one out who keeps forgetting.
What you call it? That's how we are with my friend's band.
Everybody goes to all the shows.
Pretty much. I mean, there's very few. Like
Mm-hmm.
there was one maybe like 2 months ago, and before that, the last one was like very early days of COVID.
Mm. Yo, hi Nomo. How are you feeling today? Only slightly more panicky than usual.
That's a good amount of panicky.
Oh no, that they didn't actually say that. I was putting words in their mouth, basically. Like that's what I'm hoping to hear.
Or even not panicking at all.
Hard to
Feeling good.
imagine.
Hell yeah.
Feeling good? Oh, okay, shit. Never mind. I was gonna say it seems very unlikely, but that's really good to hear, actually. Nomo, I've been thinking a lot about mereological nihilism. Let me know if you want to go down this philosophical rabbit hole with me. Potentially very cognitively taxing. Gotta find a new job though. That's the depressing aspect. Mm-hmm.
Nomo, you're in good company.
You mean wait, in what way?
Lots of people are looking for jobs.
Hmm. guess that's true.
It's an understandable position. Also, I have no backup plans to my own job. Like, I haven't redone my resume in like at least 5 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Is it okay if I do the philosophy thing? I want to talk about the philosophy thing.
Nomo said, "Ooh, I'm interested."
Yeah, I was asking you though.
Of course.
So I have been a nihilist since uh college, like so 2008 at the latest. And I've been perpetually frustrated by encountering people who presumed that that meant that I was a moral nihilist or a ethical nihilist. What are the ones are there? Uh,
It's like a jerky nihilist.
right.
People
Or
assume that of me too.
types of nihilism: existential, metaphysical, moral, political, and epistemological. Um, Pop nihilist. What the hell is that? Pop nihilist. Pop nihilism. Is that a? It's a album. Genre of music that is influenced by pop, indie, post rock,
Genre.
and a genre. Um. Okay, interesting. AI overview. Is that true? Pop nihilism. Anyway, but no, it's what I call people who don't understand nihilism. Okay, so the philosophical trajectory that I took, or like the route that I took, wherein I arrived at nihilism, was in thinking about the composition of the universe and how we think about thingness, and like whether or not like things truly exist, like the ontological reality of objects, and like both in a material context and in a sort of metaphysical context. Like when I identify myself as a human, right? Like what does that mean? Like am I talking about like the supernatural concept of the like chosen species of God, or am I talking about the species Homo sapiens sapiens? Am I talking about like some other sort of mythological notion of a person? Or am I talking about like the political um, class, um, or any number of other things, right? Like what is the like what is the being behind the concept of the self, and specifically like what it means to be a person? And I thought about it and I was like, well, no, I'm like just as much myself as I am other people's thoughts about me. That like as a social animal, I'm like my reality is heavily defined by how I'm perceived in the world. Mm. And like and is contingent on other people remembering that I exist and assisting in my existence. And like without other people, I've noticed that like after a month or so I start to heavily depersonalize. um uh and in recognizing that about myself, I had started like inquiring more and more and more about like, okay, so like what is anything? What is a television? What is a house? What is a nation? What is a planet, you know? And in asking that, I was like, okay, how small can you go in compartmentalizing something that people consider unified until it is no longer distinguishably like an apparent part of that thing? And this is where the term mereological comes in, because mereology is the study of parts in philosophy. um, and I was thinking like, okay, so a planet consists of different uh, 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 spheres, is what we call them, strata. um, and you've got the ionosphere, stratosphere, ecosphere, um, the mantle, the core, et cetera, et cetera. And like each of those things are identifiably sort of like organic moving components of this thing that we call a planet, or at least in Earth's case, that's true. But like if you start looking at the specific spheres, specifically the ecosphere, and then say like, what about a continent? Is like a continent an identifiable part of a planet? What about a what do you call it? Ecosystem, right? Like, can you clearly define the boundary between multiple ecosystems, habitats? What about like individual like prey, predator, or like food and what do you call a person, like the entity that eats food? Food producer consumer like relationship. um um and then like once you get down to like specific groups within a set of organisms, and then like individual organisms, is an individual organism a part of a planet, you know? Like, am I, buttercup, like discernibly a part of the earth? And then in thinking about that, I ended up Googling to see like, what is the scale of an individual person to a planet? And there was this Flash website that I'm sure doesn't work anymore because like Flash doesn't work. Like Flash is defunct, but it was the scale of the universe. And it showed that in terms of orders of magnitude, a single human being is to the planet Earth as a single glucose molecule is to a person, right? Like, in thinking about how much sugar we burn like per second just to be able to move our muscles is obscene. But like that is how much I matter to this planet. Anyway, when I realized that that is like kind of how like the cosmos is structured, I was like, I don't know if I think that there is a clear delineation between like like a concept or like an object and the next object next to it. It seems like it's sort of just like a matter of identification and scale, which means that it has entirely to do with, at scale, what it is that we're capable of perceiving, and then whether or not we can designate thingness or designate a thing with thingness. And then I was like, okay, well, let's just think about like how big can you go and how small can you go? And at the time, I think like the universe was as big as we could imagine things to be, the visible universe, and the a Planck length, which is the smallest conceivable size that a thing can be, is the smallest that a thing that is the smallest observable scale that we can view. But in between those two spaces, right, you've got like quantum strings, you've got subatomic particles, you've got atoms, molecules, proteins, organelles, cells, organisms, groups of organisms, so species, and then ecosystems, regions, continents, planets, stellar systems, stellar clusters, galaxies, galactic clusters, superclusters, and then the universe itself. And it's like, okay, so things just scale. And we have it as big as we can see. We have as big as we can see, and we have as small as we can see. The smallest that we can observe is a Planck length, and the biggest that we can observe is the visible universe because of its expansion and how light travels and shit. And so there are limits, but within those limits, there's an unbelievable amount of gradation, and like everything seems to be a part of another thing. And then that's when I stumbled on holon theory, which basically says that a holon is something that is simultaneously a whole in and of itself, as well as a part of a larger whole. In this way, a holon can be considered a subsystem within a larger hierarchical system. The holon represents a way to overcome the dichotomy between parts and wholes, as well as a way to account for both the self-assertive and the integrative tendencies of organisms. Holons are sometimes discussed in the context of self-organizing holarchic open systems, or SOHOs. And I was like, I like this. I like this as a concept. But if if the reason why we have these soft limits on, or I guess hard limits, as far as we can tell, on what it is that we're able to observe at scale, meaning we can only see the cosmic microwave background at the edge of the observable universe, and we can only go as small as a Planck length. Is that a matter of scale? But like if we were smaller or larger, we might be able to shift our scalar like observable perspective. That's like an interesting question to potentially ask, but there's no way to answer it unless you like made something as big as a planet that was then able to do the observing. But so I was like, yeah, I think that I believe that every identifiable whole is also a part of a larger system, and vice versa, that every part is actually a whole that is also a part of another system in every direction. Like no matter what thing you identify, if you look at it in like from a bigger, if you zoom out, it'll be obviously part of another system, and if you zoom in closer, you'll see that there are systems within it. And so I was like, okay, so that means that there's nothing all the way up and all the way down, because like if you just keep thinking about it, it's like this is made out of this, 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 you know? And so at the like most basic substrate of the observable universe that we can see, like it's just weird vibes. Right? That's what everything's made out of, right? It's just a bunch of weird vibes, and those weird vibes like somehow like overlap and accumulate and like get knotted into like more complex vibes, and then eventually other things emerge out of those vibes. But like at what point does anything ever become a thing, you know? It's just because of the like 14 billion year continuity of the cosmos and of weird vibes stacking on top of each other and intermixing that we have the way that the world works now. Everything is just vibes. But so like I was like, okay, so that means that like nothing has, what is the main definition of nihilism? rejects the generally accepted or fundamental aspects of human existence, namely knowledge, morality, or meaning. There have been different types. Like the specific thing that I arrived at is that like nothing has fundamental substance, right? That like nothing truly exists in the way that like we observationally perceive things to exist by touching them, interacting with them, observing them, smelling them, like, and even events are transitory, in that like you can describe the Paleozoic era as a thing that existed in the past, but like moment to moment, like every slice of that period of time was just a slice of the infinite universe that happened to have this specific texture, and that we can look back on because like certain aspects of it got concretized into the version of the world that we are able to occupy and view. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't believe in anything, but strictly because it doesn't seem like anything actually has thingness. Thingness seems to be an emergent quality that we as like linguistic observers put onto various holons. And so I ended up in this place where I was like, okay, so I fuck with holon theory and I fuck with nihilism, but I didn't have the terminology to understand that it was specifically mereological nihilism. So I just said that I was a nihilist for a long ass time, and people would like fight me on it. They'd be like, "So you don't believe in anything?" And they'd be like, "Well, what about like laws and like good and evil?" And I was like, "Yeah, no, those are clearly just constructs that people made up." And they're like, "Oh, so like I could just do anything?" Well, if good and evil are things that are just made up, so then like why don't you just like go fucking I don't know like go on a killing spree? And I'm like, I feel like that's not something that I really have to think that hard about. It's that like even if like there is no fundamental substratum to reality, I still perceive myself to be a person and like can feel myself care about other people. And so this is like a like I don't know why like philosophical nihilism would immediately lead to moral, ethical, or political nihilism. You know, like it doesn't make sense in my mind that you would immediately come to the conclusion like there was a part of me as an edgelord teen that was like, oh, so I can just do fucking anything. But like I very quickly found out, no, there are still consequences to doing things. Even if those consequences are a result of a complex of constructs. But so eventually I came across the term mereological nihilism, which I think is a more accurate way of thinking about or describing what it is that I experience. Materialism. What do you mean by materialism, Blue? It seems like you just popped into this conversation in the middle and then no context said a word. That's what it seems like just happened. How long have you been here, Blue? What are you saying that in response to, Blue? Things have consequences, a couple minutes. Okay. Yeah, no, I've been talking about my experience as a philosophical nihilist and the fact that I've been contemplating mereological nihilism. Now, I don't think that like identifying consequences as like actions having consequences. I was gonna make a hold on joke, but held my tongue. I don't even know how you would have done that, so thank you. Yeah, no, I identify currently as a mereological nihilist because I don't think that like at the most basic observable substratum of reality that there is anything. And that like because there is like no like material reality that composes actual material reality, at no threshold does a thing become a thing. We just identify basically systems that are networked and sort of knotted, accreted like energetic complexes as things, and grant them thingness by identifying them based on our very limited perception of reality with that thingness. Like I basically spent the past like half an hour talking about how I was like doing some existential philosophy and then arrived at nihilism as the like what feels like a very reasonable conclusion to draw about like how reality is actually constructed. But that didn't like, but at no point did that cause me to be like, oh, so like I should treat, so then I can just treat people like however I want to because nothing matters. It didn't like cause me to get depressed in the way that people seem to stereotypically think like arriving at nihilism should or would. Like I was still like, no, like I still observe myself to be a person in the world that is heavily dependent on other people, and I don't want to cause other people harm. But like believing that people like at their foundation are like just weird like etheric amalgams doesn't suddenly render them like things I don't care about, you know? And so I was talking about how weird it was for me to keep encountering people who like kept insisting that that's how I should view the world based on my worldview. And I was just like, no, like I feel like people who arrive to that conclusion are communicating that that's what they would do, just go off the rails if nothing meant anything. I see. So that you think it's a reflection of their like the internal world that they already occupy. They're like, oh, well, I only follow the rules because the rules matter. If they didn't, then I wouldn't. Yeah, that is not how I operate. Like I came at my like philosophical worldview independent of and like, and it had no impact on like how much I cared about people. That might be accurate. That's interesting. Um but so what was I thinking about? Oh, I was saying that like recently I've been thinking about mereological nihilism because it seems like people still, even when you specify that like these are the parameters under which I like come to a nihilistic like conclusion about like the construction of reality, people are resistant to that because they want things to have meaning. And I'm like, okay, like, but meaning doesn't disappear the moment that you identify that there's no inherent meaning in the universe. Like, it still has the same potential for like life and world defining gravitas. And so I just like, it seems like it's a never ending chain of people being like, okay, well, the thing that mereological nihilism actually does is it destroys a lot of puzzles. It's like, what do you mean? It's like, well, if you take the ship of Theseus, like philosophical and psychological puzzle or mental puzzle, and the puzzle is that like Theseus sailed a ship, like when it got retired, they moved it into a museum, and but then the wood started to rot, and so over the course of 300 years they replaced every single like piece of wood on the ship, and eventually not a single one of the original pieces or is left over. Is it still the ship of Theseus, right? Is the ship in the museum still Theseus's ship? And then the like second part of that thought experiment is, if they took the rotted wood, preserved it, and then reconstructed, at every single time that they removed a plank or a piece of rotted wood, they preserved it, removed the rot, and then like a jigsaw puzzle, like put together another ship based using all of the preserved rotted wood. Like, is that ship the actual ship of Theseus, or is the constructed one that they replace bit by bit the actual ship of Theseus? And like, this is an interesting cognitive puzzle about thingness and parts, and like how we identify what I call amalgams, but like what other people might call like objects, material objects. And I think that it's a fun puzzle. But people say that like if you subscribe to mereological nihilism, then the answer is there never was a boat. There never was a ship. It never belonged to Theseus. The end. But like that doesn't change the human perception of either of those things. Like we still have the ability to form the gestalt of a boat in our minds, regardless of like whether or not like on the fundamental substratum of reality there is such a thing as a boat, or like if like in the Platonic world of forms there is no Uber boat. Yeah, it doesn't like make the puzzle go away. It just like says like like in most like to reality itself there is no boat and never was a boat, but to people there is clearly a boat. And there's a concept of possession. There's a concept of like the labor that went into constructing and accreting personality over time. That like, you know, the reason why it's the ship of Theseus, he may have stolen the ship, but like, you know, by sailing in it for 20 years, people came to think of it as his. And like this, like those are more interesting. Like it's more interesting to me to think about all of these qualities as emergent rather than innate, rather than to believe that like at some point an iPhone magically becomes an iPhone, rather than like persisting as the mini organic and semi-metallic and metallic pieces that were mined from the earth and arranged iPhone in an iPhone shape, you know. Like it's interesting to me that we are able to well there's I'm trying to remember now, there's like a specific thing that I was thinking about it's called selective restriction. No, selective restriction of liberty. No. Mereological selective restriction. When do parts form wholes? Integrated information. Anyway, I saw that there was a person who at least claimed that there's a concept in philosophy called selective restriction, and the idea is that like sometimes parts form things and sometimes they don't. I would have answered that it wasn't the same boat, so it couldn't be called the ship of Theseus anymore because all the parts that made the ship were gradually replaced. Right, but like here's the thing that happens in reality, right? Like fossilized bones, rather than being made out of the original calcium of the bone, like is the consequence of like mineral replacement over the course of millions of years, right? So people get all excited about seeing a brachiosaurus or a T-Rex or a like triceratops skeleton, but like the reality is that, well, there's two realities. One is that the fossils that they have in storage at the museum are not actually the animal itself, but like the consequence of a sort of like time-based transmutation that has turned the original thingness of the animal into something unrecognizable as actually the animal. And you know, the actual things that we see on display typically are like plaster casts or bronze casts of those things. So like, why is it so awesome to like have these depictions if they're not real? And I think that the answer is that like, because it instills in our imaginations an idea about the past that is like narratively fascinating. And like, it's more narratively fascinating to think that this is the ship of Theseus than to say, well, actually they replaced every single part of it, so it's no longer the ship of Theseus. If it's a accurate 1-to-1 scale model of the ship of Theseus, that's still, you know, conceptually impressive. So why even care about the distinction? Yeah. At least that's the like philosophical conundrum that I like enjoy thinking about. Like there's a part of me that like part of me that is a mereological nihilist says like, I don't care whether or not it's the ship of Theseus, because like at the end of the day, uh the thing that matters more to me is the myth and the legend rather than the um like archival preservation of the exact plate, the exact object that like Theseus walked on and sailed with. No, I get it, and that's kind of where I always faltered, because I never had an off the top answer. I see. Mm. Mm. Um, but there are a lot of like religious philosophers who have a vested interest in believing that like um uniqueness is real, and like that free will actually exists in the universe, and that it's not just like a like weird knotted mess of um uh like how do I want to describe this, because I think there's like a term that I want to use. Oh well, there's a term that some sort of like fringe metaphysicists called like morphogenetic fields, and like that idea can extend to basically any uh uh any single holon could be considered a morphogenetic field. That like the thing that holds me together and keeps my sense of me happening is itself a morphogenetic field. It like, you know, was instantiated like at my conception and will dissipate at my death. But like for the duration of my existence, I compose a morphogenetic field, meaning that like it changes, it is self-generative, and like is self-sustained in terms of like its spatiotemporal reality. I could say it's because it's an object that was of a time, and that you of the present touching and feeling that thing means it. The past it came from exists, but that's where my process ends. My processes end. I see. Well, like, I think that I just don't trust my senses or my like sense of specialness enough to like grant that experience any sort of like cosmological gravitas, right? You can trick me into having a religious experience and it'll still be just as real for me. And I might become disappointed if I find out that it's not true, but like that doesn't mean that it wasn't important to me in the moment. You know, it's the narrative that was compelling. And like this may be like a cynical thing to say about humans, but I think that the narrative is what's more important to people. Like it's the museum selling the lie that the reconstructed boat is the ship of Theseus that like is the thing that's upsetting to people. But like as far as the people going to visit the museum and getting to walk on the boat are concerned, they're like, holy shit. Like this means a lot to me. And it's like, okay, but like it's not consistent with like everyone's agreed upon like baseline reality. And so that's the reason why it's what do you call it, discordant. But what's more important, that people have a special experience and get to like experience like have a firsthand account of the awe that they felt when walking on the ship of Theseus, or are they owed like knowledge about the reality that, well, actually like wood does not last for 3,000 years. You know. Like, and I think that the let's call it the virtualization of the world in like being able to digitally preserve a lot of things, and like the data itself not being unique, has granted us potentially a lot of perspective in understanding this problem of uniqueness and the importance of it. Is that like, no, actually, the thing that's important is the experience that you had and the memory that you have with a thing, rather than like the thingness of it. Like I may be able to go to my parents' house and like take my old GameCube and have the specific what do you call it, the thing that you put CDs in. I'm gonna get stuck trying to remember this word, but like having the thing that you store them in. Album? No. I'm like thinking about the thing specifically that video game discs come in, because like jewel case, yeah, there we go, case. Like I can go to my parents' place and like hold the GameCube and the specific jewel case that has like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker in it, and sit there and reminisce on all the memories that I have playing it with my siblings, and like the fun that we had like coming up with and verbal riffs and going back and forth and the smells from that time and all this other stuff, and like that's all important, and the object's ability to conjure all those memories is also important. But like if I was able to conjure those memories using something else, would that not have been just as important? Like what is it that prioritizes in the mind the object itself rather than the feeling of nostalgia and euphoria that it instills? And like I think that that's sort of like where I've come down on this broad concept, or like this discussion, is that like I think that a digital version of a thing, insofar as it's able to conjure a similar series of memories and like internal narration, is just as valid and important as having the physical object. Especially since like we don't craft tools with the same kind of utility that we used to. It might be a subject of purity and how that connects with nostalgia as a religious experience. Yeah. Yeah. But I think that like like we stack narratives on top of narratives, right? And so like there is a narrative that like having the original, having an authentic, unique object is in and of itself like a narrative worth crafting, experiencing, maintaining, preserving. But like I think that that is actually, you know, a consequence of capitalism and class stratification, right? That like uniqueness means that something can be used as a kind of currency, and the rich have like demonstrated that by transforming the fine art world into a money laundering scheme, because you know, if they purchase a painting for $10 million, that means that is actually a asset that holds $10 million worth of importance, $10 million worth of currency in its thingness. And like that's, and we do the same thing with houses, right? If you buy a house for $300,000, like that is considered a part of your like, what do you call it, investment portfolio, because a thing that you could do is take a mortgage out on that house after it's accrued like more once it's been, what's that word, appraised and for having increase in property value, so you can like borrow against the amount that your house is or would be to sell. And so like my point is that like uniqueness lends itself to capital. Like advertising, how a print is limited to 3,000 copies, driving up the price after purchase on the scalping market. Yes, exactly, precisely. Yeah. There's a really funny truck called a Rumblebee. And me and my ex, we dated from 2010 to 2012, and over the course of our relationship, we saw like 6 of these. And ever since then, for the past like 13 years, whenever we see one, we take a photo of it and send it to each other. And the reason is they only made 5,000 of this truck, this goofy looking truck with the Rumblebee logo. It's just so goofy, but they only made 5,000 of them. And so like now a part of the narrative of my and my ex's relationship, like ongoing, is like us being able to like playing Pokemon Snap, getting photos of Rumblebees, because like statistically speaking, we shouldn't ever see them. But for some reason we see them fairly often. um, and like you can kind of see how that complex, that narrative complex, like can contribute to a person caring about thingness just because of the novelty of the thing, but it doesn't actually make it it doesn't actually privilege it in reality. It's just the rarity of it in practice is the thing that we actually value. Yeah. You know, out there in the world, there are only 1,000 first edition copies of Volume 1. And like once these books sell out, like that's it, you know. Now like the series could completely flop and no one could end up caring about it 100 years from now, but like if you do still have one of these copies and like your grandkids inherit it and I become super famous for whatever reason, then like just that single book could be considered like an asset in their estate. And like that's the I think that that's the actual cognitive rationale for uniqueness, and it's easy to seed the narrative that that is a inherently good thing to large swaths of the populace, um, even even though like fundamentally it's not important. I think it's easy to convince people that uniqueness is inherently good when it doesn't actually even exist. To know. Don't even know her. Don't even know her name. And now I'm sick, sick, sick. Did y'all know Rebecca Black, the singer of Friday, 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 is a lesbian, and she wrote the messiest breakup song of all time. Is it good? It's fantastic. Here, listen closely. I gotta hop in stream. Can you mute? Oh, sure. Sorry. I'm gonna play. I'm gonna start it from the beginning. Let me know if you're in here. Let me know if and when you're in here. You're in. Okay. It's called Sick to My Stomach by Rebecca Black. And it's fantastic. I mean, I feel that's how I feel. I'll let y'all make your own decision. So fucking messy, dude. I love it. I'm unmuting on Birds of a Feather vibe. I'm unmuting on Discord, Layla. You know what? As usual, Blue, I have no idea what you're talking about. Oh, Billie Eilish. Layla, are you prepared for me to unmute on Discord? Wait, why is my Spotify thing?
Okay. I'm audible.
Okay, yeah. I'm just making sure that I wasn't doubling. Audio doubling.
Audio doubling good. Audio doubling not so good.
Not so good. A song I know against my will, says Blue. You
Is
don't.
not so good the song?
No. Sorry. Blue said that, like, after listening to the Rebecca Black song, she said "Birds of a Feather" vibe, and I was like, and then I was like, I'll be honest with you, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I googled it, and I was like, oh, it's a Billie Eilish song, and she said
I
a
also
song,
did not know this song.
yeah, and she said a song I know against my will, and somehow I don't expect her to elaborate for some reason.
I feel like that's pretty clear.
I don't.
Before Anti, almost all of Rihanna's songs were against my will.
Interesting. I don't think I can't think of the last like artist whose songs I did not actively seek out and still was made subject to. Hmm.
I mean, it definitely happens less often now that I am grown.
Yeah. I guess that one Gautier song pissed me off. The fact that it's still in the public consciousness continues to
The
piss me
one,
off.
the one
So,
about like their exes or something, and
yeah.
is
The
that how
funny
you say it? Gautier?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't care.
Word. Okay.
uh, scrolling through TikTok, every other video was using a sped up or slowed down version of Birds of a Feather. It was sort of like a constant discourse about Mitski. Wait, it was sort of like constant You're saying it was like that. That discourse about Mitski made you aware of Mitski. Okay. Just the
What was the Mitski discourse? Because I also seem to have missed that.
um hmm. Was it just about her writing process? Because I feel like people were talking about how she wrote uh wait, what's the song called again? It's on here.
Nobody?
Nobody, yeah. But like she wrote Nobody when she was like uh experiencing cabin fever or something. Mitski is sad girl music. This is Blue. Blue says Mitski is sad girl music. It was a whole thing on Tumblr, and she eventually had to say that calling her music sad girl was reductive. Huh.
Well, they really don't make the discourse like they used to, huh?
Yeah. Hmm. Um. Oh, I was gonna say about the Gautier song though. it's funny because I really like Kimbra, the other person on that song, and even really like her verse on that song. But like the ubiquity of the song and like not being able to get away from it. Didn't have to cut me off. And like I just don't like the melody, and so to have to listen
Yeah.
to it like a
Also,
thousand times.
the
Mhm.
dude lyrics of the songs are like attempted gaslight.
Yeah, exactly right. Like I suck is what the thesis of the song is.
I suck, and I'm sad at you for moving on.
Yeah. It's the meme of uh your ex text messages you on Thanksgiving after not talking for 3 years.
I do love the future meme.
Yes.
The no need to reply at the end of all of them is what takes me out.
Yes. No need to reply.
Because if I hadn't seen that in a meme, like I might have done that.
Yeah. Oh man. Um, but Kimbra though, actually, damn, I wish I'd thought about this before.
That's Kipra. I'm trying to
Huh?
remember what her other song
She has a song
was.
called Cameo Lover that's like one of my favorite. Uh,
I don't think that's the one I know, but could be.
Kimbra's also friends with Dandy. They like record together sometimes.
Is Kimbra the one who sings You Came Out of a Lady?
No, that's Rubble Bucket. They're a whole ass band.
Hold it, gotcha.
Yeah, I think the person, the like lead singer of the band's name is, can I remember? Cal. Kal. Dun 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 dun. Cal has a band that's called Cowbells.
Cute.
Cowbells. Jesus. One of their songs has almost 1 million listens on Spotify. Did not expect that. Like just a little Brooklyn side project. Calmia Traver. What's Cal's full name? Anna Calmia Traver. What a name. Anna Calmia. What is, I want to know what's the
Yeah, Calmia sounds portentous.
what does that mean?
Ominous,
Calmia does?
because it sounds kind of like calamity.
Oh, okay. I don't really get that. That wasn't my first thought. Oh, damn. She might be the only person named Anna Calmia in the world.
I bet the lost property search for her is super fast.
The what? Lost property search?
Hmm.
Hmm.
Have you not done that?
No, what is it?
It's the way that the state returns money to people, or I think it's also called unclaimed funds. No, it's only called unclaimed funds. But you put your name into the thing.
Oh, unclaimed. Well, they're not gonna like ping me for like tax stuff or anything, are they?
I don't think so, because this is a state by state thing.
Hmm.
Um, and it's usually like
Oh,
you
but
like
it's
pay a
on the
bill or something.
MarylandTaxes.gov website. That's what it says.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't want to be pinged. Thank you.
Lily says, I was having a conversation with my sibling about what kind of music I was listening to, and when I told them I listened to Third Eye Blind and Foo Fighters, they were like, ugh, Third Eye Blind, not the Foo Fighters. And I was surprised because I told them I got into them because of you, and they apologized for exposing me to Third Eye Blind and reminded me that my older brother was the one who liked Foo Fighters.
Yeah, I think like I shouldn't have an opinion on either of those bands, but the opinion that is in my brain, even though I shouldn't have an opinion, is negative.
Bad.
Bad. It's interesting. All you do is take me down to depths that I never knew. Got two arms, baby. LMAO, that's a consensus I only recently learned about. Yeah. For some reason in my head, well, Foo Fighters, um, the what do you call it? The like figurehead. What do you call it when the person is the like lead person,
Frontman?
frontman? Yeah, the frontman for the Foo Fighters is the was he the drummer for
Yes.
Nirvana? um, Dave Grohl. That's his name, right?
Mhm.
um, I have not heard a single Foo Fighter song. Can you name, do you have a favorite Foo Fighter song, Blue? If you have one, I'll listen to it and let you know what I think about the band. I just haven't heard a single Foo Fighter song where I was like, okay, actually, surprise, The Pretender. I feel like I've heard that one. When everything's a tucking in your sleep. Open, open, open. I feel like I remember hearing this song at the end, like the end credits of a movie. Why does it sound so weird? I'm listening to Pretender by the Foo Fighters, and for some reason it like sounds weird in my ears.
Weird in the ear.
It's weird in my ears.
Like Tinty?
Like what?
Maybe
What do you
that's the weirdness of the sound.
what did you say?
I was reading what Blue said.
Oh,
Oh, tinny.
tinny. I mean, I'm listening to it on my like really good earbuds and like through a thing that would make it like I think it's just I think I just don't like the mix. Like it's hurting my ears. There's overtones in here that like make me, that are causing me pain. Oh, and that weird phaser on the guitar. Oh, right. It's almost 7.
Will you stream after your? Oh no, because you have to clean after your meeting.
Yeah, I should clean. Um This is interesting. I thought that I must have heard it somewhere, but it's saying that like it was in a TV show called Pieces of Her in 2022. It was in Love Island season 5 episode 14 in 2015, and it was in The Hills. Did I watch The Hills? The Hills was like the spin-off show from Laguna Beach, right? Maybe that is where I heard it. That's an old ass memory. That's like 2010. If that memory is real, then it's from 2010.
The vault.
Hmm?
I said the vault.
I first heard it in an episode of Medium starring Patricia Arquette. It played at the beginning, and I went searching for it, not knowing it was Foo Fighters. That's funny. We like Patricia Arquette. The one you could be loving me so. Wait, so how come that must not be a definitive list at all then of the things that it's appeared in, which is unfortunate. Okay. I need to go because I've got a number of things that I need to do before my meeting, which is in 13 minutes, and I've got to mentally prepare for what I've got to do after the meeting, which is an hour and 15 minutes from now. So thanks y'all for hanging with me. Sorry that the stream was so short. You did let me yap about meteorological nihilism though, so y'all are real for that one. I may have more to say about it later. I guess it depends on how long it takes me to clean too, because I suspect it'll take me 3 hours to clean, but if I do it faster than that and I don't fatigue myself, then I might come back. That's for Layla, FYI. Yeah. Okay. Well, this has been the Petal Party with me, your host Buttercup, animator, illustrator, sequential artist. I hope y'all have a fantastic time zone and enjoy the time between now and when I see you next. Later, y'all.
Bye. Have a good meeting.
Thank you.